In a shocking development that's sending ripples through the global economy, former President Trump has launched what experts call the most aggressive trade action in modern history. Trump pushed through a 104% tariff on Chinese imports. For every dollar spent on Chinese goods, American importers now have to pay more than $1 in tariffs. This unprecedented move follows an initial 20% tariff, followed by an additional 34%, and finally another 50% increase when China threatened to mirror these actions. The Chinese government is considering their nuclear option, dumping their massive holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds. China holds approximately $870 billion in U.S. Treasury securities. If they flood the market with these bonds, it could trigger a crisis worse than the 2008 financial meltdown, causing interest rate spikes, a plummeting dollar, and global financial instability. The Chinese Communist Party won't back down from this economic confrontation. Beyond traditional retaliatory tariffs, they're exploring options that could reshape the global economic landscape. The situation is particularly precarious due to the deep economic interdependence between these two global powerhouses. The US and China are like two climbers tethered together. If one falls, both could go down. This isn't just about trade, it's about potentially restructuring the entire global economic order. Financial experts warn this escalation could affect everything from retirement savings to mortgage rates. The ripple effects could impact global markets for years to come. Stay tuned as we monitor this developing situation. The next few weeks could determine the future of international trade relations and global economic stability. Welcome to Economic Watch, your daily deep dive into global trade dynamics. I'm your host, bringing you critical insights into the complex web of international commerce. Today, we're examining a fascinating economic paradox that affects every American consumer: the persistent U.S.-China trade imbalance. This isn't just another business story. It's about the money in your wallet and the products in your home. Let's break down what's happening. The United States currently maintains the world's largest trade deficit, while China boasts the biggest trade surplus. In simple terms, we're buying far more Chinese products than they're buying from us. This imbalance has become the defining characteristic of modern global trade. Think about it. Look around your home. From electronics to clothing, Chinese-made products dominate our daily lives. But this raises a crucial question. How can this imbalance persist when economic theory suggests trade deficits should be temporary? Typically, when a country imports more than it exports, its currency faces downward pressure, which should naturally force trade to balance out. Let's look at Argentina as an example. When Argentinians import more than they export, they need to sell their pesos to buy foreign currency. This usually leads to the peso's value dropping, making imports more expensive and exports more attractive, eventually balancing trade. But the US-China relationship defies this economic rule. Despite years of significant trade deficits, this imbalance continues, creating a unique economic ecosystem where American consumers effectively absorb China's massive production surplus. This pattern has profound implications for both economies. For Americans, it means continued access to affordable consumer goods. For China, it represents a crucial engine of economic growth. However, this interdependence also creates vulnerabilities, as recent trade tensions have shown. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for comprehending current global economic tensions and potential future disruptions in international trade relations. Good evening, viewers. Tonight we're diving into a fascinating economic story that affects your wallet and America's future. Let me break down how currency games are played in the global economy and why it matters to you. Imagine you're at a massive international yard sale. When countries trade, they swap currencies before buying each other's goods. Take Argentina as an example. When foreign buyers want Argentine products, they first need to buy pesos, like getting tokens at a carnival. When a country imports and exports in balance, their currency stays stable. But when they import more than they export, their currency typically drops in value, like Argentina's peso has experienced. But here's the question. How does America keep running massive trade deficits without our dollar crashing? The answer lies in China's strategy. When Chinese companies sell to America, they receive US dollars. Normally, this would make China's currency stronger. But China doesn't want a stronger yuan because it would make their exports more expensive. So what does China do? They've developed a clever strategy. Instead of using dollars to buy American goods, they recycle them by buying U.S. Treasury bonds, effectively lending that money back to the U.S. government. This creates a situation where China keeps its currency artificially low, making their exports more competitive, while becoming America's biggest foreign creditor. It's like letting your customer use your own money to keep buying from you. This system has worked for decades, but it's created a dangerous dependency. Some economists warn it's like building a house of cards, impressive but potentially unstable. Any major shift in this balance could have serious consequences for American consumers and the global economy. For viewers wondering about their investments and retirement accounts, understanding these currency dynamics helps explain why international tensions can affect your portfolio's value. Stay tuned as we continue to follow these economic developments and their impact on your financial future. This is your evening economic report. In a fascinating development that highlights the complex financial relationship between the world's two largest economies, China's monetary strategy has taken center stage in discussions about global economic stability. Financial experts are monitoring China's currency management and its holdings of U.S. government debt. The mechanism is straightforward. China's central bank creates yuan to purchase dollars in foreign exchange markets. This strengthens the dollar while weakening the yuan. This practice has led to China accumulating a vast reserve of U.S. dollars, invested primarily in U.S. government securities. China currently holds approximately $800 billion in U.S. Treasury securities, making it the second largest foreign holder of U.S. government debt after Japan. This represents a decrease from the early 2010s when China's holdings peaked at $1.3 trillion. Experts suggest these official figures might underestimate China's actual Treasury holdings. Responding to domestic nationalist sentiment opposing lending to the United States, China has adopted sophisticated financial strategies. These include moving Treasury holdings to state-adjacent entities and diversifying into other U.S. government-backed securities, such as mortgage-backed securities from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These mortgage-backed securities represent an indirect form of U.S. government debt, as both agencies operate under federal government backing. This strategic shift shows China's attempt to balance economic pragmatism with political considerations. The question remains: why does China continue lending such substantial sums to the U.S. government? The answer lies in economic interdependence and strategic financial planning. This lending pattern serves multiple purposes for China's economy and its position in global financial markets. The relationship between these economic giants continues evolving, with each move calculated to maintain stability while serving national interests. Breaking news: economic tensions rise as U.S.-China financial chess game intensifies. Good evening, bringing you critical updates on the escalating economic situation between the world's largest economies. Today, we're examining what experts call the most complex financial relationship in modern history. Let's break down why this matters. U.S. Treasury bonds, the backbone of global finance, are at the center of a high-stakes economic showdown. These aren't just any investments. They're the gold standard of debt instruments, offering security and attractive rates. China has become America's biggest banker, holding massive amounts of these treasury bonds. This created a beneficial cycle for both nations, until now. Chinese purchases of U.S. debt have strengthened the dollar, enabling American consumers to buy more Chinese products, creating what experts call chimerica. The Trump administration's aggressive tariff strategy, now at 104% on Chinese imports, has sparked discussions about potential retaliation. Some analysts suggest China could dump its U.S. Treasury holdings, but here's why that might be unrealistic. First, selling these dollar-denominated assets would cause China's yuan to appreciate significantly. This would make their exports more expensive and harder to sell globally. Second, China faces a practical dilemma. Where else could they safely park such enormous amounts of money? The U.S. Treasury market remains the largest and most liquid in the world. Think of it as two climbers roped together on a steep cliff. Neither can let go without risking both falling. This mutual dependence has created a financial stalemate that complicates any aggressive moves. These economic tensions impact everything from retirement accounts to local store prices. Stay tuned for more updates as this economic chess game unfolds. In a concerning development, new analysis suggests China's potential dumping of U.S. Treasury bonds could trigger a market collapse. Recent reports show Treasury sell-offs reaching alarming levels, pushing U.S. borrowing costs higher, even without Chinese intervention. While China's holdings represent just a portion of the Treasury market, the timing is precarious. With America facing a debt crisis, a Chinese sell-off could push the U.S. economy into uncharted territory. Financial experts warn this could potentially force a U.S. default on its debt obligations. During the 2008 financial crisis, Beijing rejected Russian proposals to dump mortgage-backed securities, showing restraint to maintain global economic stability. However, the current situation differs. As Trump's administration raises tariffs to 104% on Chinese imports, Beijing may be reconsidering its cautious approach. Sources suggest that if confrontation becomes inevitable, the CCP might prefer to control the timing of any crisis. This mirrors tensions in the northern Black Sea region, where economic warfare has become common. The effects often extend beyond primary actors, affecting global market stability and trade relationships. Analysts stress that a Chinese treasury dump would trigger a worldwide economic downturn, harming all major economies, including China's. This mutual assured destruction scenario has deterred extreme financial measures. As tensions escalate, traditional safeguards appear to be weakening. Wall Street veterans worry about current market vulnerability, citing high government debt, rising interest rates, and increasing geopolitical tensions. The situation remains fluid, with both nations watching market indicators while maintaining hardline positions. As this economic chess game continues, the global financial community watches carefully, knowing the next move could shape the world economy for years to come. Breaking news from the ever-spinning world of American politics, where reality sometimes feels stranger than fiction. Today, we're diving into the peculiar landscape where billionaires, politicians, and social media collide. Elon Musk, the Tesla titan, has been making waves again. Between managing his electric car empire and declaring various individuals as potential threats to security, he's keeping newsrooms busy. While we can't verify if everyone who gives him a sideways glance gets labeled a terrorist, the pattern is raising eyebrows in Washington. Speaking of unusual declarations, former President Trump continues to dominate headlines with statements that range from controversial to extraordinary. His recent actions regarding trade with China have sent shockwaves through international markets, with tariffs reaching 104%. For those trying to make sense of this political circus, our WTF USA series offers a refreshing take on these events. Unlike traditional news coverage, this show brings a lighter perspective to serious matters, helping viewers understand the political implications of everything from social media meltdowns to corporate chaos. The series, available on Nebula alongside real-life Laws and War Room, breaks down complex political situations into digestible segments. With global tensions rising, particularly in the northern Black Sea region, staying informed has never been more critical. Our coverage extends beyond headline-grabbing moments. We're monitoring the situation with China, especially their threats regarding U.S. Treasury bonds, which could impact the global economy. The interdependence between these economic giants makes every move significant. In times where geopolitics shifts daily and social media can transform minor incidents into international crises, having reliable sources becomes crucial. Whether it's understanding the latest Tesla controversy or analyzing international relations, our goal remains consistent: keeping you informed while maintaining perspective on modern political discourse. Stay tuned for more updates as we continue to navigate through these extraordinary times in American politics and global affairs. In today's media landscape, finding reliable and thoughtful content can be challenging. Let me share something interesting that might help you stay better informed while maintaining your sanity in these turbulent times. Have you heard about Nebula? It's not just another streaming service. It's a creator-owned platform making waves in the independent media space. Think of it as the thinking person's alternative to mainstream streaming services, offering content that goes beyond surface-level commentary. What makes Nebula particularly interesting is its focus on in-depth analysis. You'll find channels like Real Life Law, Wendover Productions, and Legal Eagle, creators who dig deep into complex topics. And yes, you can watch TLDR there too, completely ad-free. Some content appears on Nebula before it hits YouTube. You get early access to breaking news analysis and detailed explanations of current events, including coverage of trade tensions between major powers and developments in the northern Black Sea region. For our regular viewers, Nebula offers an environment free from algorithmic pressures that often affect content on other platforms. You can watch at your own pace, without interruptions, and really absorb the information. Currently, there's a special offer available. By using the link in our description, you can get 40% off your subscription. That's just $36 for an entire year, or $3 per month. Less than a coffee for access to thought-provoking content. Staying informed doesn't have to be stressful. Taking a step back and approaching news through a different lens can help us better understand the world. Whether you're interested in legal analysis, geopolitical developments, or just want a fresh perspective, Nebula offers a space where complex topics are broken down accessibly. Join a community of viewers who appreciate nuanced discussion and in-depth analysis. Check out WTF USA and our other content exclusively on Nebula, where we explore topics with the depth they deserve.